When did you first meet Bruce McArthur?
He contacted me on Silver Daddies, 2011. After 2010. So I just bought a new car and I had it with me when I first met him.
So you were on a Silver Daddies.
Yeah.
And did he reach out to you, or did you reach out to him?
He contacted me.
What did you think?
Yeah, give it a try.
Okay, so tell me, how many times did you meet with McArthur?
I couldn't tell you. Many, many, many times. We were seeing each other off and on for up until 2016.
And then what happened?
And there were months we didn't see each other and stuff like that. It was just casual, just to have some fun. That's all it was.
What was he into when you'd see him? I mean, was it just a quick hookup, or he'd come here, you'd go there?
Yeah, no, he came here most of the time. We never, except for, it was only one time that was outside of the home here.
And where was that?
The place he was house sitting.
Mallory?
No. I think it's the place where they cut out the carpet. Found the blood. Big 3-story place.
Okay. Midtown somewhere.
Yeah, Midtown, but more easterly. More
Is
New
it
York.
where they found the bags of hair? Is it that place where they found the hair?
I'm not sure.
Like
I forget the police asked me where that address was and everything.
Okay.
But I couldn't remember because he was driving.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, would you say you met with him dozens of times? How many times did you have sexual relations with him?
No, I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I never really kept count. I would say more than a dozen times.
More than a dozen?
Oh, yeah.
And would you consider him your boyfriend, or just someone you'd see casually?
Someone I see casually, but I did want to get more serious, kind of.
You liked him?
Yeah, I liked him. So,
what did you like about him?
I thought he was a nice guy.
Good chemistry?
Yeah, we never had a problem. We always got along. He enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. So, but I don't know if that's completely right to say either, because towards the end there, he started. I felt like I was being a little stalked, and it irritated me because he was showing up at my work and leaving notes on my windshield of my vehicle. He'd be sitting in my driveway many times when I got home. Mm-hmm.
Was that just the last year before this?
No, he's except for the notes, that was something he's never done before. But yeah, he would just be in my driveway waiting for me to get home many times, whether I'm sitting on the side of the building having coffee or parking in the underground garage. All of a sudden, he'd show up my window saying hi. So.
Tell me about the last encounter you had with him. That was when?
June 20th, 2016. That's about the date, yeah. That's a story in itself,
What was different about that day then? I mean, that day you were meeting
He
him.
was insistent that
Start again. What was different about that day?
He was sitting in my driveway when I got home. And I didn't even know I didn't even notice him sitting there. And all of a sudden just pops up beside my window. I said, I was irritated. But I said, let's go upstairs. And no, it doesn't want to go upstairs. He wants to make out in the van. He wants to be in the van. He was very insistent on it. And I just finished work, and I was starving. I was hungry. I was dirty. I need to go home and shower, So I said, okay, meet me up by Timmy's, up by Bathurst and Finch. Go get me a coffee, have a coffee ready for me, So I went upstairs, I showered, and then went to go meet him up there. No coffee, no nothing. I get out of my vehicle, I parked right beside him, 2 spots over, right up against the sidewalk. The parking spots were. He says, get in the van, get in the van. So I said, okay, for a minute or so, but I'm really hungry, we gotta go eat. I'm like, my stomach's hurting. So, on the van floor are the tarps and stuff. I'm not sure what color they were, but.
Like plastic tarps?
Yeah, like construction tarps. But I didn't think twice of it, because the guy's a landscaper,
In the back, and the back seats are out, right?
The fur coat was on top of these tarps,
Okay,
and then
so
in the back was all this construction stuff.
So where's the seats are out of the van?
Yeah, the seat right behind the driver was taken out, and I'm not sure even if he kept it in there. So there's a gullyway for two people to lay down.
So what did he
Now
say
the
to you?
very
Like,
back seat.
Yeah.
So there's a drivers, passengers, rear right passengers, and then there's a short bench seat right in the very back for a two-seater. So basically, it's like a little gully.
Like a long,
all the way to the
long
back.
enough for one person to lie down, or two?
1.5. Because
Okay.
when I laid down, when he got me to lay down, he closed the van door, and he laid on top of me.
How did he get you in there?
He told me to lay down.
But
I said
when
okay
you
for a
pulled
few
up,
minutes.
You pulled up and you
Yeah.
said, "Hi, Bruce."
Yeah.
And then what did he say?
He goes, get in the van, lie down. He wanted to have sex right then and there. So I said, okay, for a few minutes, then we got to go eat, because I'm really hungry. He's okay. Then we're laying down, and he's on top of me. But I'm used to him being kind of on top of me, He had his whole left side of his body sideways to my right. He had his legs over my legs. My right arm and shoulder and everything was under his weight. He's like 200-something pounds. So I told him to, he put his hands down my pants, and I said, well, since you're down there, titillate me kind of thing. It was okay. More of he pinches me a little bit, I never considered him to be strong to hurt me or anything like that. So he says, put your arm over your head. And I'm on my back, so I put my arm over my head. Grabs it with his left hand, because he's like this on top of me, right? So he's got use of his left hand. Mm-hmm. So he reaches over. I'm like this, so he's reached over like this with his left hand. Yeah. And turns from a smile to a scowl. He had a scowl on his face and a look of anger and hatred. And with his full force of his hand, open hand, he grabs my neck. Oh man, that hurt. Only for a second, because all of a sudden I got this adrenaline rush. What the hell? And he had the full force of his arm, his shoulders right into it.
So he was still holding your neck. He had one hand on you like this,
yeah,
and the other hand around your neck.
Yeah.
And
so I'm like this, like he's holding his left and he's down with his right arm. And he's got his shoulder right into it.
Are you yelling? What are you doing?
I can't yell.
Are you?
I think I said I said stop, and that was all I really was able to say. I couldn't breathe. Forget breathing. Not when you're in that position. There's no way. I'm thinking, oh, close quarter combat, great. I couldn't pull out of it. I couldn't turn. I couldn't move my arm. I mean, I seriously could not move my arm. And he had me good.
And how was he looking? Still looking?
I only looked at his face for a few seconds. He still had that look, like he's going to finish it. He's going to do it. He means it. There's a very serious look in his face,
You thought he was going to kill you?
I know he was going to kill me. You don't do that unless you're going to kill somebody. What he did to me. Oh, I know it.
So what did you do next?
Not much. Not much I could do. I had to take it. So I tried struggling. I mean, I'm trying to turn over. Couldn't move. And he just kept strangling. I don't know how long. By that time, I don't know how long gone by. Maybe half a minute. And I couldn't turn left. I mean, I'm trying to I'm trying to move my arm. I could feel my fingers move, but that was it. Under his body, I mean, he's all flesh, all fat and flesh. There's not much I can do there. Like I said, he's got a few 100 pounds on top of my right arm, you know, plus his muscles and everything like that. So he's not going to let me go.
So what are you thinking at this point?
I'm dead. Didn't take me long. Didn't take almost a minute. I knew he was trying to kill me. And you know.
And were you thinking why? Why? You'd had sex before. Why would he want to do this now?
I don't know, but...
You're struggling.
Yeah, I'm struggling. Then finally, I'm able to start turning to my right side, trying to slip my arm from under him. In doing that, now I'm kind of facing towards him. My arm is still locked underneath him. I don't know how, maybe a minute's gone by then. He's still straight, and he's still got his grip on my neck. I don't know how long, much longer, but eventually I ended up on my stomach, and he's still holding on to my left arm, my left wrist. Then he still got his right hand on my neck, and he's still squeezing for all his life, you know. I'm still not breathing. I don't know how much time's gone by. And now he's finally, like I said, if I'm on my stomach now, he's completely on top of me. Right on top of me.
Like bearing down on you, like this? Both
yeah,
hands
well,
on
no,
you?
he's still holding my left.
So he's got one hand and he's
He
got...
had to hold my left hand, because if he lets that left hand go,
Right.
so I'm going to take advantage of that, even though it's destroyed my shoulder. I'm still going to take advantage
So
of it.
he's
I'm
on
gonna
top of you
try.
holding this hand and his right hand on your neck.
Yeah. Now, in doing so, in the way I rotated, because I rotated to my right arm is underneath me. So now I got my weight, and I got his weight on top of my right arm. At that point, any breath I had, I managed to get out the words, "What do you want from me?" And he never said a word. From the time he said, "Put your left arm over your shoulder," till that's the last thing, words he ever said to me. He never said. He was very quiet. He was in the zone, you know. He's in the murder zone. He's getting off on it. And my eyes were hurting by that point. I don't know, a couple of minutes had gone by already. And I'm still being strangled. With all my, I'm still pulling my right arm out. I'm trying to get it out. I'm thinking about my mom. At that point, after that, all I could think about is my mom.
You mean you're thinking of all the people you love?
No, just my mom.
Well, because you're thinking this is it.
Yeah. So, I'm still trying to pull my right arm. Finally, I think, no, she's not going to bury me. No way. I won't let that happen. And with all the strength that I had, at the last bit of strength that I had, I managed to pull my right arm out. As my arm finally came out, and I'll tell you, the burning sensation I had up here, I remember that. Because you're using a lot of muscle, to try to pull that out. It's like lifting weights. I finally got it out. And as soon as he got my arm out, he let go. Come on. He saw he lost control. And he's still on top of me. He finally let my left arm go too. And I'm on my stomach, so with all my strength, this is only a split second, I pushed up so hard. But when he let go of my neck, that was the sweetest breath of fresh air I ever had. through him. He landed in the back seat on the passenger side, the second back seat. And boy, you should have seen how fast I was on top of him. I grabbed him by the throat. I had my fist up here, and I was ready to start smashing. I was so angry. I was pissed. I had the look of fear in my face. As soon as my arm came out, I had the look of pure anger. When I got on top of him and had him, he was like a turtle on his back, his arms out like that. And when I got on top of him and I grabbed him by the throat, and I was holding my fist up in the air, I was in command. I saw he wasn't a threat to me anymore. Even if he tried something, it would be pretty stupid of him to do something like now.
But you wanted to kill him at that point?
Yeah, I knew that once I started hitting him, I'm not stopping. And looking back, I wish I'd hit him. But I've been charged with assault before. Family stuff. So I knew. I'm also thinking, promise the judge a winner, no way. And how do I prove it?
You're thinking of all this.
You got to think fast. Okay?
Are you gagging? Like you said, it was a sweet breath of fresh air. How are you feeling? He'd been holding you by your throat for minutes.
I got the adrenaline's rushing through me. I got all this adrenaline. And his eyes were wide open, like wide. It was like, I'm about to die. So I just grabbed the door, slid it open, got out, and I freaked out. And I'm like, I couldn't speak. I got a hard time speaking. I told him, I said, you idiot, what the fuck is the matter? Excuse me. What is the matter with you? I could have killed you. And I almost did. I was ready to kill him. But it would have been a lot more painful. And I said, Bruce, you're under arrest.
What did he say?
Don't go nowhere, I'm calling the cops. I walked over to Mike, didn't say a word. He just sat in that chair like a turtle because he's trying to figure out what's going to do, what he has to do next. I get into my vehicle, I call 911. And he's still there beside me. I'm not running from him. Oh, there's no way. I want retribution. And he totally screwed with the wrong guy. But he should have finished me. Damn. He'd been strangling me, I guess, for about 4 minutes. That long.
How did you know that? You knew that because of the dash cam video?
Yeah, because we only made out for a minute or so before he started strangling me, and it's like there's a 9-minute interval, 8 to 9 minute interval. And most of that time was me struggling to get the hell out of there. So you can imagine how I feel. Anyhow, so I called 911, and I don't know if the 911 operator could make me out what I was saying because I could barely speak. Well, you'll hear it on the video, you know. But,
so you're on the phone.
Yeah.
He's still sitting there in his car.
Yeah, and as I was trying to describe to the operator what happened, like tell her, I mean, she had already dispatched a police car and an ambulance. When there's a strangulation, they automatically send an ambulance. No questions asked. 911. They follow procedure.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was still on the phone with 911. He gets into his passenger. He closes the door. I didn't realize he closed the door. And he gets in his seat, starts her up, and takes off. I'm going, he's getting away. Oh, I'm going to get this guy. I'm going after him. I'm going to stop him. And the 911 ordered me to pull over. Yeah, okay, better. Because traffic got in my way, I couldn't chase him anymore anyhow. And my vehicle will overtake his any day of the week.
So he's driving fast.
Yeah, he's heading south on Bathurst, taking off. They didn't see him after that. So I just went back to the parking spot and waited for the police car to show up. It showed up about 2 minutes later. And so did the ambulance at the same time. So.
So you're in the parking lot now with the police and ambulance?
Yeah, they took my statement on scene. 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. And that was it.
Did they say we're going to follow up with you, or we're going to call you back?
No, all I said was just tell, if he wants to live, tell him to stay, want him to live, or anything. I'm just saying. It would be, don't want him to come anywhere near me. If he it ain't going to be good if he comes back. It ain't going to be good for him at all.
You gave him his name. You said this is, what did you say to the police about
I
who
wasn't
he
sure on
was?
his last name.
What did you tell the police about the man?
BDKL 653.
You knew his license plate number.
Oh yeah.
You knew his name.
Yeah.
Did you know where he lived?
No. He never told me where he lived. He never wanted to take me to his place. He always used a payphone, or he just showed up at my door. There's only one time he ever used a cell phone with me, and I managed to keep that in my iPhone, and I gave it to the police, that phone number, because it's like.
But you had a picture of him on Silver Daddies, or the website, right?
Yeah.
And you had video of him. Do you have video of him getting out of the car? Or do you see him?
Well, you don't see him at all. You just see the vehicle.
But you had a photo. Did you, when you described him to the police, and you said his name is Bruce?
Yeah, that's all I said was Bruce, and it had his plate number and everything like that. And it doesn't matter because he ended up going to 41 Division anyhow, reporting it himself.
But you didn't know that.
Well, I didn't know anything at all because the police never contacted me after that. I never heard a thing.
Well, when you didn't hear from the police, did you ever think of calling them and saying hello?
I just figured they drove to his place, had a little conversation with him to stay away from me, and that would be the end of it.
You weren't worried that they didn't charge him with this, or did you ever think there might have been another victim?
No, not at all. I just figured it was, I don't know what to figure. I don't know what to say to that.
Because if he did that to you, maybe he did it to others. But you weren't thinking like that.
No, I wasn't. I was thinking, don't want to be selfish, but I was just thinking about myself. You know. Now I got two other guys to think about because I should have plowed into him. I should have let him have it. I should have eaten the charge. I should have.
You mean because you have guilt about the fact that Salim Essen and Andrew Kinsman came after?
Yeah. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, you know. But didn't have the foresight, like.
You mean you should have
didn't
heard
have
him
the
that day now? I know you said you worried about being charged because you had been charged before.
Yeah.
But why do you feel like that now, that you should have heard him?
But you know what, I work for a living and everything. I'm a contributing member to society. I'm sure if they got the full details, of course, that's why Gutierrez should have called me. I would have told Goche.
And was he the one who came and interviewed you at the scene?
No.
He wasn't?
He's just the detective.
He was in charge of the investigation?
Yeah, the street officers report to the detectives,
Right.
detectives report to the sergeants,
Okay.
or whatever, you know. Chain of command, just
Right.
like in the Army, you know.
So when did you hear from police? That was June 2016. When did you next hear from the police?
January 20th.
2018.
Yeah, like 2 days after he was arrested. So, because my
Were
name.
you aware he had been arrested? And how did that happen?
Oh yeah.
Tell me about that.
I'm driving home. I'm listening to 680 News, and all of a sudden I hear something about Bruce, landscaper, 2 murders. Yeah. Then I didn't hear anything else. So I got home. I'll check it out on the internet. Oh, but then all of a sudden his face pops up. I wasn't all that surprised. Like I was, but then again not. I think, okay, that explains it. You know, I got my answer. The guy's a serial killer. But at that time he was only suspected. So.
You think you could have been one of his victims?
Me? I almost was.
You think he was going to kill you that day?
Yeah. But he knew that I wasn't dumb enough to be tied up either. I would never allow that. Never, never, ever. So, but these guys, either they were drugged or they allowed it. And he took advantage.
So the police called you 2 days later. What did you say to them? Or what did they say to you? Because you must have...
Can you come down for an interview?
Okay. And what did you say to them about the fact that no one... Did you ask, why was I never contacted?
No. Because I basically said, just tell him to stay away from me. I wasn't looking to charge him or anything like that. Just stay away from me if you know what's good for you. You know?
But that being said, had they charged him, he may not have gone on to kill those other men.
Yeah, he wouldn't have. There's no way. He would have been under the microscope then. Would have been too hot for him. And chances are, maybe something else would have happened that they would have figured out who he was, you know. But then and again, I could have been the one who would have been charged. That's why. I didn't want to lay a charge because I was afraid I was going to get laid charge. Because he would have said, because he, at one point I hear that he said, I assaulted him.
Mm-hmm. That was why they didn't charge him. But then we've since learned, as you know, that police have now charged him with insubordination, neglect of duty, that they say that he didn't carry out the investigation properly. You should have been videotaped. Yeah,
but if he videotapes me, it's still between Gutier and his supervisor, Goche.
Yeah.
To whether to charge anybody, yes or no.
But the point is there's protocols when it comes to domestic assault.
Yeah.
Had they followed that protocol, he perhaps could have been charged.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they would have seen my neck.
Did you have visible injuries on your neck?
Yeah. So, because I had to go to the hospital the next day, I actually thought he broke something. Because when he grabbed me, it was like with such a force. It was like a throat punch. So I couldn't swallow for a week. I could swallow, but it hurt like hell. You know? And I couldn't speak for a day. My voice actually was for a couple of days. They said to me at work the next day, they said, your voice is very hoarse, you got a cold. I said, no.
Did the police drop the ball? Because this Goche has now been charged with not doing his job properly under the Police Services Act. Do you think they dropped the ball?
Yeah, I thought about that many times. But no, actually I don't.
You don't think Goche should be charged?
That guy, he did everything to stay out, you know, to keep everything hidden as much as possible. As far as dropping the ball goes, and charging him for assaulting me, I know that in domestic disputes, whether the victim wants to charge us or no, the police are supposed to charge the person anyhow, period. Mm-hmm. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, and that didn't happen. Right?
And this was not a small assault.
Sorry.
This was no minor assault.
Oh no, it was just an attempted murder. Because they even said during the police interview, it says, well, if you can't prove the two murders, then trust me, we'll make sure he gets attempted murder, get at least 10 years in jail.
So you're not angry with Paul Goche? You don't think he should be disciplined? Or how do you feel? Because as you know,
That's not up to me.
It's going to go before the Police Services Board, as you know. Police Service under.
I don't think he should be fired, though.
You don't think he should be fired?
Oh hell no, no. He's been with the police too long for that.
But the fact
I'm sure he's done a lot of good stuff too.
He's been in trouble before. We've heard. Had he charged McArthur, like you said, he may not have gone on to kill Salim Essen and Andrew Kinsman. So that's why he's been charged with neglect of duty.
No, I understand that. But then I should have beat the shit out of him too.
And but you didn't want to get charged, you said.
Yeah. Thinking back, I should have let him have it and just dealt with the aftermath later. Said, I'm standing contributor, a member of society. I'm sure I wouldn't have gotten in jail, but I don't want to go to jail.
So you actually regret that you didn't hurt him yourself?
Yeah, I should have let him have it.
Because you think you could have
Somebody just tried to kill me, and I let him go. How stupid could I be? Anywhere else, I'd have taken. I would have taken retribution. But for him, I didn't. I don't know why.
Why do you think, you'd seen him so many times, why do you think it suddenly escalated from a casual, good sexual relationship to one where he was violent?
2 months before he tried to kill me, he killed that poor Dean guy.
Right.
The guy had it in his system to do it again. The guy was getting off on it and getting off more and more and more. Because instead of waiting years in between murders, he's now going months.
But he didn't, you were different than the other men in that he didn't have the file folder, for example, that he did for the other men.
No, but he had on-off with Kingsman too.
Right.
And I'm sure he fooled Kingsman just like he fooled me.
So you think you were more like Kinsman than the other men, and that you had an ongoing relationship?
Yeah.
And then one day he just decided to kill Kinsman, and you think that's what happened with you?
Yeah.
You went to court. What was that like?
Morbid. He's like, seriously? No, I don't believe this.
So you had to go to hear what
I knew
happened.
he cut up the bodies and everything like that, but I didn't. But necrophilia? Come on. That's a sickness.
When you saw the images, the fur blanket, the vehicle, well, you already had seen the vehicle because we put it on, you knew what the vehicle looked like, but when you were in court and you saw some of the images of the blanket he used and some of the items he used to stage his victims, what was that like? You had seen that fur, right?
Yeah, it was a few times. Now I'm thinking about, I was laying in other men's DNA, you know, dead men's DNA. Yeah. What can I say? You know, it's weird. Like, not weird. Sad.
Because after his arrest, the pictures started slowly coming out. And most of them didn't look like you, and then suddenly there's a white man who's quite a small white man. You're quite a small framed white man.
Dean. You know something, one of the other brown men who were, the one who went to borrow the $60, Navarrete, no, it's not Navarrete, one of them went to borrow money off
Ajib
Bruce.
Khan?
Was it him? And he was despondent to destitute, just like Dean. And you know, my heart went out to them. I said, "Oh, those poor guys. You know, they're having."
Oh yeah, Salim Essen. He needed money. That one,
Yeah.
right? That he was
Wasn't
desperate.
Salim Essen?
Right
That was after me.
After you.
Just like Dean, and felt the same way. Whether it was white or brown, I was thinking, these poor guys. They have a hard time already as it is. No home and stuff, and then somebody goes and kills them for their pleasure. Oh, those poor guys. Whether you're white or black, it don't matter to me. And you know, I don't like it that they play this race card thing, because it has nothing to do with race at all. This is about a man who got enjoyment out of killing, and he got enjoyment out of the sexual pleasure that derived from necrophilia, and the pleasure of control. That's all amounted to him. He doesn't care. Listen, if he was a racist, then I don't think he would have killed these guys. He would have picked the people he liked the most, right? He likes white guys. He would have just killed the white guys.
But he picked men that didn't have family here, that wouldn't have been missed.
You figure people.
You would have been missed.
Oh yeah, right away. Next day.
You have family here.
I got family here. My work would have been phony because I don't miss a day of work.
But yeah, he was definitely going to kill you that day.
Yeah.
You were close to death, you think?
Yeah. The way my eyes hurt? Oh, yeah. No, he wanted to finish me. He wouldn't. Oh, if it was just play, he would let go sooner. But he didn't let go until I finally got my arrow, until I finally freed myself. He just did not let go.
And the only thing you could say at one point was, "Why are you doing this?"
Yeah. no answer. It just kept squeezing. So, yeah.
Were you thinking, what did I do to deserve this? Like,
No, that's not what I'm thinking at all. I'm thinking, I gotta get the hell out of this. You know. Then I started thinking about my mom. But just before that, I'm thinking, well, why did he do, like, what's going on? Why? Then I thought about my mom. I tell you, if I didn't think about my mom, I'd probably be dead.
it was the strength of thinking of, I don't want my mom to bury me, you said.
Yeah.
Have you ever told your mother the story?
No, and I can't anymore.
She's gone.
Yeah. So